About 15 protesters took to the streets of downtown Las Cruces to protest, joining with demonstrations throughout the nation in support of President Obama's promise to veto congressional approval of the Keystone XL Pipeline. Simon Thompson organised the demonstration and says the pipeline's risk to the environment outweigh the economic benefits.
The tar sands pipeline, tar sands oil is the dirtiest form of oil known on this planet. It is 20 times more corrosive than the oil that is pumped out of the ground. And if that spills, and all pipelines eventually spill unless, some very expensive measures are taken regularly to maintain them, we're going to have disaster after disaster. And since the tar sands oil is 20 times more corrosive than the others, pipelines are going to be bursting that much more often, and especially at points where there's also the interaction with water, in other words, rivers.
The Keystone Pipeline, as planned, doesn't run through New Mexico, but if it's finished, it will be extended into Texas. Thompson says the debate could set the tone for policy decisions across the nation for how energy will be generated for years to come.
Today, climate change has to be dealt with because that's going to affect our lifestyle, our total lifestyle.
Thompson points to public utility PNM. The company agreed to retire 2 of the 4 coal-burning power units at its San Juan facility to comply with the EPA regional haze rule. But there's controversy over how the company wants to replace the retired units. Thompson says PNM's plan to use outsourced nuclear and coal-generated power instead of renewable energy goes against the spirit of the original deal.
It's just wrong-headed. I think that we should be instead emphasizing renewable energy sources.
Others agree with Thompson. According to the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, New Mexico is ranked 3rd for its solar potential. But the Solar Energy Industries Association says it's only 10th in solar capacity installed. New Mexico State University Professor of Economics Dr. Jim Peach says New Mexico's expansion of renewable energy cannot be left solely to market forces.
Utilities are big things. They are natural monopolies and they are regulated by the state almost everywhere. It is a public policy decision. Electricity markets have almost never been market-driven.
While critics raise concern that New Mexico is not taking advantage of its renewable resource potential, there's no doubt that oil and natural gas are big business in the state. The New Mexico Tax Research Institute says almost 1/3 of New Mexico's general funds came from big oil in 2013. That revenue is declining along with the fall in oil prices, and for Keystone opponents like Jan Thompson, that throws more question marks over spending to develop fossil fuels, which require a long-term investment.
They don't see the distant picture. They're looking at what's happening right now. And we need to be a little more future-focused.
And Peach says the economic future for renewables is on the rise. 20% of the electricity sold by New Mexico utilities must be produced with renewables by 2020. But that is on par with most other states. Peach says New Mexico could be doing more to incentivize renewable energy. Environmental activists continue their push for solar and wind energy and their fight against fossil fuel projects like the Keystone Pipeline. Thompson says they want President Obama to use his power to veto poor decisions.
We want to be sure that he knows that we support that measure on his part and give him courage to go ahead and do it. He's going to be having to veto an awful lot of things these days, and we want him to especially to veto this one because we love our environment.
According to a December CNN poll, 57% of Americans think the US government should approve the Keystone XL Pipeline's construction. 28% were against it, and 15% were unsure. For KRWG, I'm Simon Thompson.